Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be his helper, presided over a virtual press conference with members of the Gambia's press and media organizations on Saturday. Over approximately an hour, Hazur spoke on a wide range of subjects, including questions on both the religious issues and current affairs. One regular theme throughout the meeting was regarding the need for world peace, and several journalists brought up the recent use of deadly force by Israel against the Palestinian people.
So quickly, I have one question. It is attributed to the Prophet ﷺ, that when you see a wrong, you either remove it physically with your hands, or you remove it with the mouth, or at least you dislike it in your heart that you wish this was moved. In the case of Palestine, Israel, I want to know what is the position of the mission. What exactly are they doing about it?
You see, we don't have the world power. We are not ruling any country. So here, as with regards to the power, we cannot use it. As far as disliking or stopping it through the word of mouth or by saying something, that is what we have been doing all the time. You see, in my last Eid sermon, I spoke against that cruelty and brutality that was being committed or is being committed against Palestinians. And there is no balance of power. Israel is the fourth superpower of the world, and Palestinians are just a small, resourceless people. And they cannot reply in the same way. They cannot practice tit for tat. They are just bearing all this cruelty. So what Ahmadiyya community is doing is, within their sphere, within their reach, whatever we can do, we speak against cruelty and brutality being committed, and our contacts with the politicians, the big powers of the world, as in UK or America, there also we try to meet the politicians and those people who are in power, those who are in contact with us, or those who listen to us, that try to use their resources, their influence, to stop this brutality and cruelty. And you see, here also, we have to maintain justice. Whoever is cruel, whoever is destroying the peace, should be stopped from doing it. So this is what Ahmadiyya community is doing in case of Palestine, or in any case wherever the justice is not being properly done. Okay?
I would like to ask a question based on the answer that you give. Muslim worlds are not united, and we all know unification is power. But all the let's say Islamic leaders always preach about Muslims are not united. They, like you earlier mentioned, like they always go for their own interest. So have the leaders try to create anything pertaining to talk or discuss about something that can unite Muslims so that they can have one goal, that is maintaining peace into the world?
You see, this is what I have said. It's a big pity. Regrettably, they are not united. All have their vested interests. Our leadership is not sincere. They only want to save their power, their chair, and supremacy of their parties or their nation, instead of considering the unity of the Muslim Ummah. So this is why the Holy Prophet ﷺ said, in the latter days, this will happen. Muslims will not be united. Every country or society or group will have their own interest, and they will not consider the larger interest of the Muslim Ummah. And at that time, even they will forget the teaching of Islam. In the name of Islam, they will be doing bad things. So at that time, the reformer of the age will come, and you follow that reformer. If you follow that reformer, he will give you the true teaching of Islam and get you united. So, in my view, this is the only solution, that instead of seeing their own national and political interests or personal interests, each and every leader should consider and try to think of the larger interest of the Muslim Ummah and try to unite. If they are not going to accept the reformer of the age, at least they try to unite. And you see, there is an organization of Islamic countries, but that has failed. What is it doing? That organization does not have one voice. Had there been one voice of Muslim Ummah, Muslim leadership, then there would not have been such things, as I have already explained. So the only thing is that Muslim Ummah should get united. And the solution which Allah Ta'ala has given us, the Holy Prophet ﷺ has told us, is that when the reformer of the age comes, you accept him. In my view, this is the solution. Okay?
My question is, we are witnessing a lot of injustice and atrocities happening going in the world against the Muslim. As the leader of the Jamaat, what do you think? What trigger all this heinous crime against the Muslims, Ummah?
I have already told you in the other question that because our leadership is not fair, they are not sincere with their objectives. They all have their own vested interests. You see, now we can see that Israel has killed more than 200 Palestinians. Then if you see what Saudi Arab did with Yemen, thousands of people were killed and displaced and removed from their houses. And then what happened in Syria and Iraq? If the Muslim world is not united and they are killing each other, how can we say that we can maintain peace in the world? Until and unless we, as a Muslim world, become united, and then there should be unifying force, unity, and one voice, and that will serve the purpose. But because our enemy knows that we are not one, although we claim ourselves to be Muslim Ummah, but as Ummah, we are not working together. So this is the cause of all these atrocities being committed against Muslims. If you are one, there would not have been any power who dare to fight against Muslims, right?
My question is about this generation in which we are. And why has it been extremely difficult for this generation, bluffing with an unprecedented technological advancement and awareness, to achieve peace and unity?
All your questions are encircling around unity and peace. You see, it's not a matter of this generation only. For past 50, 60 decades, we have been seeing this disturbance in the world. Even it is almost 107 years since the First World War erupted, right? And later on, the Second World War. That is also more than 70 years. This is the pity, that although we are advancing, we claim ourselves to be civilized, we claim ourselves more advanced than the previous generation, still we are trying to snatch each other's rights. We are usurping the rights of each other, and without feeling any shame. And everybody thinks that he is right. So now, in this materialistic world, although we have technologically advanced, but our greed has increased. The whole world is a global village now. And we can see that that nation has got more facilities, they are better advanced, and we are less advanced. They have better facilities, they are rich and we are poor, and that is also making frustration among the people. This technological advance has created frustration. And because of this frustration, we are trying to snatch others' assets and property by hook or by crook. We don't bother whether it is fair or not. The big powers, despite the fact that they have the power, they have the resources, they are trying to usurp and snatch the resources of the small powers. Millions of dollars are being collected from the African nations by the big powers in the name of establishing peace in their countries or for the development of their countries. But in reality, it is not being spent on them. Had it been spent properly on the African countries or the poor countries of the world, whether it is in Asia or Africa or elsewhere, there would not have been a poverty level as we can see today. So, although we say that there is a technological advance, but that advance has brought us together, and at the same time, it has created enmity with each other. And, vindictiveness, anxiety, there are so many causes. And that is creating disturbance in the society, in the whole world. So we have to consider all these things, that how can we live together. This is why, at the end, I would say again the same thing. This is why the reformer of the age came, to unite the whole of mankind on one hand. And until and unless the people, whether it's the people of the big rich countries or the people of the poor countries, realize the rights of each other and realize the right they owe to their creator, there can never be peace in the society or in the world. Okay?
Okay, my question is, what is the proof from the Holy Quran that Islam is the only true religion? And you can state some of the attributes on why all the prophets have in common, including the promised Messiah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You see, Holy Quran said that all the religions, all the prophets sent by Allah Ta'ala were the true prophets of Allah Ta'ala. The Quran only says that all the teaching of the previous prophets have been gathered in the Holy Quran. And all the previous prophets always said, it is in the Bible and in the Quran as well, that they came to their own people in different pockets. And there was a time when there was more than one prophet in different areas. as you can see, Abraham and Lot, the example in the Holy Quran, even in the Bible. But the Holy Quran claims that the Holy Prophet ﷺ was sent for the whole of the mankind. He is Rahmatul lil Alameen, and he is for all the nations. And this is why all the true teachings which were preserved till the time of the claim of the Holy Prophet ﷺ were all included and revealed to the Holy Prophet ﷺ again, and they were mentioned in the Holy Quran. So we say all the previous prophets, although they were rightly guided and were sent by Allah Ta'ala, but they never claimed that they are for the whole of the mankind. But the Holy Prophet ﷺ claimed, and it is in the Holy Quran, that he is for the whole of the mankind and for the whole of the world. And his message is complete. Now is the complete Sharia. This is one thing. The second thing, even Jesus Christ did not say that he has come for the whole of the mankind. He said he has come for the tribes of the Israelites. Then, common attribute of all the prophets is they always said that worship Allah. And they were the true follower of Allah Ta'ala. And they tried to maintain the unity of Allah. All of them said Allah is all-powerful and omnipotent. That is the common thing which all the prophets said. And even this was said by the Prophet Messiah ﷺ. So this is the short answer of your question.
My question is, how can we purify our hearts and strengthen our faith to have the love and the spiritual connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
The best way is to pray to Allah Ta'ala, that Allah Ta'ala purifies your heart. This is why Allah Ta'ala has asked us to, and even He has shown so many examples in the Holy Quran and given us the prayers in the Holy Quran, that you should say, you do istighfar. Istighfar is the best way to purify your heart. Istighfar is the best way to free you from your previous sins and to give you the power to stop committing any sin again. So this is the best way. And then also Allah Ta'ala has asked a true Muslim to offer the 5 daily prayers. So if we are fervently praying in our 5 daily prayers and observing our prayers in the best way and with full concentration, then we can see that there's a big change in our life. So the best way is to offer 5 daily prayers, seek Allah's guidance, Allah's help to purify your heart, and do istighfar and do Durood Sharif as well, as much as you can. That will also help you to purify your heart and to increase you in your faith and belief. Okay. I think, Mirza, now it's more than 1 hour. That is all.
Yes, Azur, that is all. We are very much thankful to you, the media houses, the Jamaat, and the
Thank you,
country.
All of those who have come to attend this meeting, and convey my salam to all the Jamaat members. And Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay.
Jazakumullah, Azur. Thank you.
The following day, a second mulaqat took place, once again in the Gambia. This time, Hazur presided over a virtual meeting with Khuddam office bearers. Much of the mulaqat involved individuals introducing themselves and seeking guidance in their various roles and departments.
Assalamu alaikum, Pyare Hazur. My name is
Walaikum
Abdurrahman Cham.
Abdurrahman Cham with beard.
Ji Hazur.
Acha, mashallah. What is your assignment?
I'm Mutamim Tarbiyat.
Mutamim Tarbiyat. What is your tarbiyat plan?
Also, the plan is to involve as many Qudam as possible in tarbiyati activities.
All right. Just tell me, during the past 6 months, how many Qudam have been involved in the tarbiyat program?
As of this past 6 months, it will be difficult to estimate because of the outreach was not there. But we have groups, like different regions have WhatsApp groups, and we have a national WhatsApp group where we reach.
What was your plan given to the majalis for tarbiyat? Did you give any plan that this should be this much Qudam should at least be regular in offering 5 congregational prayers, and this is the number we should try to achieve those who do tilawat every day, and the number of the Qudam who read the religious books or the books of Prophet Muhammad Islam or any other activities. So, do you have any detailed program like this?
Also, we don't fix like number of Qudam that should be involved, but we have an annual.
How would you know that? What is the achievement? Until you have the data, yes. You don't know what is the present position. Where are you standing now? And what should be your target? What are you going to achieve? You make such a plan which is being implemented, and you see the result of it. If you listen all my previous programs and the instructions given to you by Qudam section, then I think that is enough guidance for you. So only you have to push yourself.
Okay, inshallah.
Nobody is coming from outside to push you. You yourself have to push yourself.
Ji.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. If the BA department is active, then all the other departments will also be active. And you will see a big change among your Qudams.
Ji.
They will be more attached to the Jamaat. They will be cooperative, coming to the mosque, and trying to make personal relation with Allah Ta'ala, and then leave so many bad habits. So if you have to make your department active and try to implement your plan, make a tarbiyat plan and then implement it, not only make on papers.
Ji, theek.
Okay? Theek hai, Maulvi Sahab?
Ji, theek hai.
Being a Maulvi, you have double responsibility.
Ji, that's right.
Okay, sit down.
Jazakumullah.
Assalamu alaikum, beloved Hazur.
Wa alaikum salam.
My name is Mamadou Jao. I am the Muhtamim Umurut Tulaba.
Umurut Tulaba, are you studying or teaching?
No, I have completed. I am a social worker. I work with one German development agency.
Acha, mashallah. So those who are attending universities, what are their subjects? Are they doing medicine or science subjects or just IT or art subjects?
Yes, some of them come around.
Do you have medical college, separate medical college, or the same, the one department in the university?
The University of the Gambia has a faculty of
medicine. Try to encourage more Qudam to go into the field of medicine.
Okay.
And science.
Yes.
And research as well.
Yes, Hazur.
All right. Okay, then next.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, beloved Hazur.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Yes, please.
My name is Abu Bakar B. Tarawale, serving as Muhtamim Wakari Amal.
Muhtamim Wakari Amal? How do you hold your Wakari Amals? How do you organize your Wakari Amal?
We normally is regular.
Acha, when did you do your last Wakari Amal?
Just today, this morning, even.
Acha, what was the work done?
Like putting the chairs for the mulakat and
that is not Wakari.
Arranging the boys to.
This is why you are quite healthy. So putting the chair from here and there, it does not consume much of your energy. So this is why. it helps you to gain weight. So apart from that, any other Wakar Amal you have organized?
Yeah, we did have a Wakar Amal not long ago in a major hospital, the government major hospital.
Acha. What did you do there?
We cleaned the entire hospital premises.
Acha. Okay, then next. That's the end of it. Sadar, how regular you are in giving your comments on the reports? Do you do it? Do you give your comments on each and every report which you receive from various majalis?
No, Huzur, we don't do that.
So you should try to give your comments or at least acknowledge their letters, or those who are not sending their reports. So you should remind them on regular basis every month.
Inshallah, Huzur, we'll do that.
This way you can make a closer contact with those Jamaas.
At the end, there was an opportunity for a few brief questions.
Assalamu alaikum, beloved Huzur.
Wa alaikum salam.
I have a question. If an Amila meeting is going on and it's time for prayers, should we stop and pray, or we should continue with the Amila meeting and then later pray?
Yeah, you should stop and pray first. Join the Jamaat if it is in the mosque, and then after completing your prayers, then you can continue with your meeting.
Jazakallah, Huzur.
Beloved Huzur, my question is, how best can we utilize Facebook and other social media outlets for preaching activities?
You see, you can utilize it only for preaching activities, yes, by pasting some forceful arguments, and through the verses of the Holy Quran, Hadith, and quotations of the Prophet Muhammad and the Khulafa, which help you that just different types of people have different questions. So you should, and never react if they are using some filthy or abusive language, or they are not properly following the moral codes, then leave that person. So be careful if you want to do preaching on Facebook and media and other social media, and then use it with all the protocols of morals, right? And good teachings. And tell them the teaching of the Holy Quran and Hadith and the Prophet Muhammad. Right? Okay then. Now time is over, and Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Huzur, we are very much thankful to you for giving us some of your time from your busy schedule to have time with us. We will continue to pray for your long life and good health, and we are requesting prayers from you so that we will perform our duties and functions to the best of our abilities.
Okay, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.